Thank you for listening. A list of content warnings can be found in the episode description. Take care. Enjoy the show. Planescape Torment, the Unofficial audio series. A narrative let's play adapted and produced by RevocerGM. Combining in-game audio with additional voice acting through dialogue and descriptions to improve your listening experience. Rediscover the amazing story of the 1999 cult classic isometric video game, Planescape Torment, like you've never heard before. The sculpture before you resembles an enormous ghoul, complete with sharp claws and a black obsidian tongue. It stands motionless and stares straight ahead. There is no indication that it is more than just a marble statue, but you cannot help feel that at any moment it could strike with visceral speed.
Careful, Cutter. It bites.
A chittering voice emits from an oddly shaped skull on one of Lothar's crystalline shelves. Who are you?
I'm Goatscomb. I was a were-rat.
Were-rat? How did you get here?
It's embarrassing. I was in rat form, looking for some food at the bottle and jug, when let's just say I never expected a serving wench to have a silver fork. And I wound up here.
Silver? That really work?
Silver. Or a magic weapon. Poison works too. Normal weapons don't work so well, though. There was a time I got folks to shoot me full of arrows. Didn't do anything but sting. I looked like a porcupine.
Good to know. Anna and Dakon wait for you by the divan in the center of Lothar's salon. It is not a pleasant thought knowing your next step is to return to the dank of the Catacombs, but you have little choice if you'd like to see Morte free again. And so, you slide the couch aside, revealing a trapdoor below. The reek of stagnant water and wet fur fills your nose as you make your descent. Down here, the rough-hewn walls are coated in a congealed slime that reminds you of the sludge gathered in the center of the buried village.
Back down to it, I suppose.
You don't mind joining us?
If this leads to the tombs, you'll need someone who knows where they're going.
Do you spend a lot of time in the catacombs for Farad? Or you mostly in the hive?
Both. And Chris likes to think he's the best of the tomb crackers, but that's only because Farad keeps sending him down. If he were to bump off, it's no skin from anyone's back. But the hive can be just as leery, mind. Sure, you won't get ghouls or whatnot, but you're either ducking from chefs or dodging the harmonium.
I have to ask, what were you doing looking for bodies in the pregnant alley? I mean, you would have had to creep your way through the tenement, then past the Dabbas to get there. And the place isn't even heavily trafficked as the rest of the hive, so why would you even look for bodies there? Anna shrugs.
Rest of the hive is picked clean. It is. You got to find new spots to poach deaders, you do.
As Anna speaks, you feel a crawling sensation in the back of your skull, and you start to realize that she's not telling the whole truth. Anna, are you sure? There must be something in your tone, because it stops the swishing of Anna's tail dead for a moment. Then it resumes, a little slower than before.
Aye, I think.
She frowns, and she seems a little uncertain.
I don't usually go there to scarp deaders. I don't. I had to think of it, I'd never been there before. I just kind of came across it.
So why then?
I dunno. I just did. And lucky for you I did, or you'd still be there.
The same crawling sensation as before worms up the back of your skull, and with it comes another realization. While Anna is masking the truth, it doesn't seem to be intentional.
Anna, were you compelled to go there? Is that how you found me?
She nods, slowly.
Aye. Mayhap. It wasn't one of my usual haunts, but I couldn't help myself. I just wanted to see what was there that day, and there you were, dead as a timber. You were like a lodestone, you were. I don't even know what led me to find you.
Further down the passage, you hear the muttering of voices. About a dozen lurid figures, obscured in the dim torchlight, are in the heat of some frantic argument. They burst from their huddle, several loping off into adjoining tunnels, and reveal in the center a familiar figure, the hunched were-at chieftain from the Warrens of Thought. His eyes flash with voracious interest as you approach.
Mantuak.
Ah, the biped comes, now slinking into the nest of Lothar's servants.
What are you doing here?
I am the voice of many as one and the emissary of Lothar, master of the bones. I speak here and you answer. What do you want here?
You work for both of them. Doesn't that test your loyalty?
And why should it? The master knows the secrets of power, and the many know the secrets of the city. Perhaps one day I shall play them against each other and become the greater for it. Many as one sees many advantages in such an arrangement, and the conversion of the buried village dwellers can help to extend the reach of Lothar, and many as one all benefit. Yes, yes.
Conversion of the village dwellers? What do you mean?
Shh. None of your business. Now, what is your purpose here?
None of your business.
All that transpires here is my business. Speak, or my ratkin shall feast upon your flesh for all eternity.
Very well. I'm on a quest for Lothar. I'm looking to retrieve a skull. One that he needed someone of competence to retrieve.
The rat man ducks his head at the mention of Lothar and hisses at you.
Send a hairless one to do the job of the kin? Impossible.
Nonetheless.
Begone then, and return when the skull is in your hands.
He pauses and looks at you suspiciously.
Have you a skull yet?
No.
Lothar's portal, unlike any you've seen before, is held open. No key or activation on your part, but a vaporous mass swirling about the wall. As you approach, the echoing of the master's voice bids you onward. Enter. Dakon, stoic as usual, readies his glaive and steps through. Anna, raising her eyebrows, urges you forward. As you pass, your feet land on the slick flagstones of the catacombs, and the stench of rotting meat and bat guano fills the air as the odd chattering of varghouls echoes about the tunnel. Several of their winged forms swoop down from the shadows. Dakon immediately fells two with one swipe. A third singes in your arcane flames, and Anna pins a fourth to the wall. It squirms beneath her blades, black blood oozing from its mouth as a probing tongue curls about her arm. With a flash of steel, its severed jaw flops to the ground. The hideous thing twitches and sputters. Anna peers over as the flesh about its face warps horridly and curls, shifting to mimic her own.
You blighter!
With a frantic stomp, she crushes it into a pulp.
Oh, I hate those things.
You all right?
Oh, don't touch me. Oh, they give me the creeps.
Anna guides you through the catacombs, expertly navigating the corridors with little hassle. Although while managing to avoid the danger, she insists upon frequent detours into unchecked tombs. Most you find empty of all but ash and bones, but occasionally come upon a crypt of more elaborate design, sending Anna into an obsessive focus, inspecting every crack in the stonework for traps or secret openings.
You need to pay mind to your surroundings. When you step into an area, take a look around. Anything out of sorts? A draft in a sealed corridor? A section of floor with a weird design? An important looking chest that's put squat in the middle of the room? That's when you look for traps, you do.
Your eyes drift about, taking in the intricate detail of this tomb. The entirety of the floor, ceiling, and walls is one dizzying mosaic pattern.
The most important thing is that someone had to set the trap, and that they had to know about it once they set it. There was one time when I was entering the Grand Demesne in the clerk's
A
ward.
richly decorated sarcophagus lies at one end. Names and warnings appear to have been inscribed onto the heavy stone lid, but have been chipped away into illegibility. Something about blood and ancients.
And the fact that the carpet was new around the floor of the cabinet told me I'd fitted it recently. So I pried it up with me dags, and dead sure there were acid stains on the stones beneath.
You follow the pattern down its side and notice a slight depression about the base, where the color appears to have been scraped from the tiles.
So, I knew to look for an acid blossom when I popped the cabinet and nicked his coppers.
I think I see something.
Oh, aye, good work. Now look for the danger.
Above, you see large metal caps jutting out of the ceiling. They look like they may have controlled airflow into the crypt, but have rusted completely shut.
Some kind of gas, maybe? Mayhap. Let me see.
Anna carefully runs a finger about the edge of the tiling before finding the catch of some kind of pressure plate.
Got it. Alright, quick, pop the lid while I hold it close.
You slide the heavy slab over, the mechanism now nulled, and reveal an alarmingly well-preserved body. Rich jewels and bright chains adorn its neck, and clutched at its chest is a rod shaped like the foot of some large bird. Anna's eyes glint as she holds it close to her face.
Jackpot.
Anna, did you find anything on my body before you brought it to the mortuary? Anna looks at you, warily, and her tail stops flicking for a moment, then resumes, slower than before.
Aye. Mayhap I found something. But if I found anything, it's mine by right. It is. The other bits are in Farad's keeping.
Anna, what did you find on my corpse?
Well, you had some fist irons, you did. And a little bit of junk, but I left that for the dusties so they'd think I was a wee bit honest. You did have an ugly ring that I kept.
She dips her finger into her arm braces and pulls forth a small silver band mounted with a red stone.
Worth thrice more than the junk and the irons it was.
She studies the ring and squints.
Too bad it's too ugly to wear.
Can I have it back? She frowns, glances at you, then back at the ring, and with a sneer, she flicks it to you.
Well, didn't want the ugly thing anyway, I didn't...
Fine. Now, you mentioned that some of the stuff from my body had gone into Farad's keeping.
Aye. Farad takes a bit off each corpse we find, he does. It's his right, being lord of the village and all.
That's a lot of corpses.
Oh, aye. To hear tell, old Stuttercrutch has got a stash pit somewhere close to him. It's the only reason why I can see you set up Kip in that filthy, drafty hall it is. Nothing but stink and shadows. Why, you ask? You planning to bob him?
No.
Good. Farad can be daft sometimes, but he's mean as all fiend spit when he gets worked up. And I wouldn't want to be the one to do that.
Fair enough. Let's move on. Continuing your exploration, you try and keep track of the twists and turns. In the dim light and overwhelming complexity, it is no easy feat, and this punctuated search goes on for some time. Eventually, Anna leads you to a wide passage, apparently the entrance to an infamous tomb, known by the collectors simply as the Trap Crypt. It is not hard to figure out how it got that name. Clanking metal pipes jolt and shudder about the walls, and you hear an uncomfortable whirring from below. The ground is comprised of metal grates coated in dried blood, and vents to some dark pit below continuously belch out a vile warm air that reeks of death. As you step forward to inspect the place, Anna holds out an arm.
No. This is a job for an expert. Maybe sometime.
Her tail stiffens, and she bites her lip in concentration as she crouches down and begins her routine checks along the first of the panels before you. Not wanting any interruptions as she works, she bids you and Dakon wait back, giving you a moment to recover from these relentless past few days. You reach into your pack and draw out the unbroken circle of Zerthamon and begin your study of the 5th lesson in the Way of the People. Zerthamon was the first to know the way of freedom, yet it was not he that first came to know the way of rebellion. The knowing of rebellion came to the warrior queen, Gith, one of the people. She had served the Illithids upon many of the false worlds as a soldier, and she had come to know war and carried it in her heart. She had come to know how others might be organized to subjugate others. She knew the paths of power, and she knew the art of taking from the conquerors the weapons by which they could be defeated. Her mind was focused, and both her will and her blade were as one. The turning in which Zerthamon came to know Gith, Zerthamon ceased to know himself. Her words were as fires lit in the hearts of all who heard her. In hearing her words, he wished to know war. He knew not what afflicted him, but he knew he wished to join his blade to Gith. He wished to give his hate expression and share his pain with the Illithid. Gith was one of the people, but her knowing of herself was greater than any Zerthamon had ever encountered. She knew the ways of flesh. She knew the Illithids, and in knowing herself, she was to know how to defeat them in battle. The strength of her knowing was so great that all those that walked her path came to know themselves. Gith was but one. Her strength was such that it caused others to know their strength. And Zerthamon laid his steel at her feet. You look to Dakon as he puffs at his strange decorated pipe, the carved tentacles coiling about the bowl, the ornate stem clutched in his spider-like hands, the blue smoke that drifts and swirls above, mirrored by the rippling of the Karak blade on his lap. And consider, for the first time regretfully, who he was before you'd met him on this journey together.
Dakon, what is it you wish to know?
You recall a few words shared by the Githzerai warrior in the Red Pony Inn.
What is Shrakt lore?
The steady bellow of pipe smoke falters, and he turns to stare hard into your eyes.
Shrakt lore was a great city of the people. A bastion in the chaos of limbo, where we lived innumerable, holding order within our minds to maintain our place within the shifting plane. Lived. Shrakt lore fell to the chaos, and many of the people fell with it. I'm sorry. Is it gone forever? Some say the people gather to hold order and once again reform the bounds of the city. But I do not know. I have not seen Limbo for many years. Why did it fall? Catchalai drowning. I cannot answer all of this. Apologies. I didn't mean to. I have read The Unbroken Circle.
I would speak to you more in the way of Zerthamon.
What did you come to know?
There is great strength in numbers, but there is great power in one. For the strength of the will of the one may gather numbers to it. There is strength not only in knowing the self, but knowing how to bring it forth in others. You have come to know the fifth circle of Zerthamon. With this knowing, I impart this to you. He once again twists the links, so a new plate slides forth. Meditate upon its teachings, and the knowing of it shall give you strength. Reflexively, Dakon's fingers feel around the edges of the stone circle, and he twists it clockwise, the links clicking until they have settled into a new configuration. He then reverses the motion, resetting the stone. What is actually drowning? I've heard you say it before, and Halcyon said it last night. Dakon's face relaxes slightly, and the faintest smile curls about his lips. It is said when the speaker is telling you the answer to your question would serve no purpose. Noted. Know that it would carry the intent that the question be shaped so that it is more specific. I see. Who was Achilai? Upon the plane of limbo, we must shape the plane with our minds, or the chaos of the plane will devour us. Achilai was one of the people who did not know herself. Time came upon her when she lost herself in the chaos matter of the plane. She knew not how to return to a community, so she shaped a small island with her thoughts, and she waited. In waiting, she met a traveler swimming through Limbo's sea. Achilai is said to have called out to the traveler to ask the way home. Only one question need she have asked. Know you the way to my home? Yet she asked, what know you of the plane? The traveler knew much, and much of what was said was new to Achilai. Her questions grew, feeding upon the answers, until she knew not where she was, and knew not that she must maintain focus. The small island she shaped dissolved into the chaos matter, and she drowned. It is a lesson that tells us the harm in asking without purpose. The glaive across Dakon's lap turns a cold gray, like a sheet of cracked ice. And what is T'Cha's choice? I would know how you came to know that expression. You spoke it while talking with Halcyon in the Gith language. In fact, you said a number of things in that conversation that interested me. I would know what you meant by it. It is an expression that knows many meanings. Then tell me one of them. T'Cha's choice speaks of one who has no choice in their action. His glaive ripples, and you watch the edges become dull. His face clenches, and he speaks through his teeth. It is not my will to speak of this. Very well. At least not for now.
All right, come on, nearly through.
Anna's voice echoes down the passage. She has marked a series of grates and panels safe to step upon, creating a pathway to the end of the tunnel where she waits. Before her is a strange container set upon a pedestal with hinged hatches on either side.
There's some mechanism of the box, but I just can't get it. I think if we open it, these hatches will swing down, but that seems too easy for a place like this. So I suspect there's more. Worse than a Beitsu playground it is here.
All right. Well, what do you need us to do? Her tail swishes slowly, and she bites her lip.
Open it?
What?
Hold on. You open it, me and Pops have a rope around your waist and pull you back the instant we hear a noise.
I'm waiting for the part that makes any sense.
Oh, come on! I've seen you close a wound faster than a fated would skip a beggar. What's the worst that could happen?
You're absolutely insane.
I's led you to the alley. I's kept you on the path down here. I'm asking for just a little in return. No one has ever gotten to this crypt before now. And I ain't leaving till I see what's in that box.
Within a minute, you are standing squarely in front of this metal container, a length of rope fastened about your waist, with Anna and Dakon several feet back and to either side, ready to pull you towards them the moment there's any danger.
Okay, now, it'll likely be a blade trap or something.
Likely? What else could it be?
Well, no way to know. There's a gap above that could drop something and 2 holes in the wall that might shoot out.
Great.
Now, we're watching and listening, so don't flex, alright? When we pull, you let us fling you back, okay?
Alright, let's just get this over with. I'm ready. You lean forward, feeling the tug of rope as it tightens. The container itself is an abominably shaped thing, like some giant metallic beetle with rusted pincers. You've no doubt whatever is about to happen is going to hurt. You just hope Anna and Dakon pull you back quick enough to avoid losing a limb. You place your hands upon the lid.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
You flip the top as quickly as possible and glance inside. Nothing. A few dusty bones and a yellowing skull. Its chipped teeth almost appear to be grinning. And then you hear a loud ratcheting and the scything of a great blade.
Back!
As predicted, a disc of steel spins down from above, just as 2 rusted spears shoot out from the holes on either side. Anna and Dakon are quick to react, and your stomach tightens as you are yanked clear. What you hadn't predicted, however, were the sword-like spines that are now jutting out from the grate below as you launch towards them. You pivot on your feet, twirling to redirect your fall, tripping you back towards a stabbing spear on the left. It just grazes your ribcage, but avoiding it sends you reeling into the path of the great spinning blade.
Watch out!
You careen towards the only space that isn't now filled with razor-sharp death. There is a snap, and the rope severs. Stumbling, you fall into one of the open hatches and plummet into the darkness below. Thank you for listening to Planescape Torment, the unofficial audio series, a RevocerGM production. To support the show and those involved, please consider subscribing to our Patreon or donating via our Ko-fi page. Links to both are in the description.